Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Bears, Tea and Tarot with me, your mystical host, Graham Joseph Norton, and my wonderful ebullient co-host, Richard G. Jones. How are you? Happy New Year.
What did you call me?
You're my ebullient co-host.
Just checking. No, I'm
Yes,
great.
yes.
Absolutely great. It's a new year. It's a new season. Oh my gosh. Yeah, doing good, love. Doing good.
Good. Did you have a nice Christmas?
Very nice. Yeah, really. I had my sister here with us through Christmas and New Year, so that was nice. She kind of just joined in all the stuff we normally do. We didn't do anything too different. We saw our friends on Boxing Day. For those that don't know,
do they have Boxing Day in the States?
No, I do. I make it happen.
Oh, okay.
So because John's family is Italian, so they're used to like an Italian Christmas dinner, which is wonderful. I mean, I cannot fault one bit of it. But I did, miss my English Christmas dinner. So I kind of started this tradition that on Boxing Day, which nobody knew about, I would cook roast beef and Yorkshire pudding and everything else. And we started to have friends over for it, who are the ones that have children. So we see them. So they typically come to us, but they have just had another baby kind of October. So they said, could you bring Boxing Day to our house? And I was like, yeah. So my sister and I bought the food and we took it over and cooked in their kitchen. They had like a bigger table and a little bit more space. And my friend's mother was there. So it was nice. It was a really family day that felt Britishy. We had crackers and that my sister actually got from an American store, but sent them to me. So it's good. So it was nice. And then that family, our really good friends, invited John to be a godfather to their new son. So that was really nice. Really, really nice. So nice treat. So it's been lovely. And then New Year's Eve, dead simple, bottle of bubbles on the sofa, watching and in bed by 12:30.
Nice.
So yeah, it was nice. It was nice all around, bit of family and all of that. And you were away for Christmas.
I was. So I decided it's been a long year. And so I ran off to Gran Canaria. But my mum had been recovering from lung cancer, and I spent a lot of time in and out of hospital with this year. So I just decided, you know what, I love you dearly, but I need a break. So I left her and my father in the care of my brothers.
Lovely.
And I went off to the Canaries with my friend John. And but I do think God is taking my superpower. So, because I don't know what's going on with my healing energy, but anybody at the moment that I'm kind of being intimate with suddenly breaks into tears and starts telling me their life story, or I start channeling messages from dead loved ones. I don't know what is going on.
Forgive me, but that's hilarious.
Yes, I mean,
they're giving them readings as you great.
Yeah,
that's a new take on it.
Yeah, it was a very interesting week, and it's still going on. So I've kind of, maybe the universe is saying, Graham, maybe you need to be pure and holy for a little while. But anyway,
fair enough.
Yes, or conserve your energy for something else. Maybe that's what it is. All the gym work. But no, life is interesting. Other than that, just I went back to work last week, and I felt like I'd done about a month's worth of therapy sessions and readings in a week. God, it's just been so busy. I mean, this time is always very difficult for people, so, and with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, there's a lot of uncertainty. So being a psychotherapist means I'm very busy. So but which I'm not complaining about, but I do think so. That's why I kind of said to you, before we kind of came on air, that I'd like to spend this episode, rather than doing readers' letters or listeners' letters. I'm never sure. Are we readers or listeners? Whatever.
Kind of both,
it's both. Yeah, viewers, whatever. That we do. We'd spend this episode kind of exploring maintaining mental health and navigating uncertainty with positivity.
Nice.
So I thought that's what we do today.
I think we all need a little bit of that at the minute. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and so I think so. I've designed two card spreads for that, and of course we'll have a meditation. But those card spreads will act as a Cleedon for everybody.
Lovely.
Okay,
Lovely.
So collectively, and so in that I've just kind of been chilling, and so let's have a chat about Heated Rivalry, because it'd be very interesting to think about what you think. Because I'm reading all this stuff online. I have watched it. And you've watched it, obviously. I think every gay man on the planet has watched it at this stage. So what do you think? I'll be honest. I think it's lovely that we have such a positive show, right? But I'm completely confused by the reactions. Like I'm kind of like, everybody's gone nuts over all the sex scenes and whatever, and I'm kind of like, that's a slow Tuesday, babes. Like, it's not really
Well,
that amazing.
I think that's it, isn't it? We've been presented with a story that's romantic. It's a couple of different couples having different versions of a similar story, and we're seeing nakedness and intimacy. I mean, what I find very interesting, ish, is that they're being very clever how they shoot everything, because you're seeing them. What you think is almost pornographic, but actually they're cleverly hiding
anything.
All the downstairs business, as somebody might say. But it's still erotic. It's still lovely to look at, and I think it's presenting intimacy nicely. What I think is interesting is that that's probably no more erotic than you might see from a straight TV show.
I mean, to be fair, Sex and the City, for example, that was a little bit more graphic.
Brilliantly put. Yeah, I mean, the amount of nudity or near nudity and kind of faux sex that they showed on that show, I think is very similar. I think that's a very, very, very good point. But I think I think it's been presented. I don't know. It's very what I see from my side of the world. What I mean by that is that the little tiny momentary bit of television that I know how it gets made and all of that is the marketing, because it feels like it's come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it feels like it's made under the radar.
Yeah,
but yet if you watch the Golden Globe, the two main characters that we're kind of so far familiar with were at the Golden Globes. Now that doesn't happen just because that's carefully planned, I think. Or somebody's very cleverly reacting, but I don't think that can happen just by chance. I think that's all very planned. And
I kind of thought that was interesting.
Season 2's coming out, I think, any day now. I think it's so quickly about to come out that the planning, I think just some very, very clever people are behind it as to how, they know what gets people talking. They know what gets viral. They know that the queer community are probably going to get behind it. I think it was interesting that it was the main couple. One is of mixed race heritage and one is from Russia. I mean, so there's definitely not typical characters that we see. And it's also a very interesting world, the hockey world, the sports kind of world, and the being in the locker room and the kind of masculine team against team or person against it's layered with that. So it's very, and I think there's a lot of our own stories in that in the coming out, especially for older ones, because it's being taken back 10, 15 years. Interestingly enough, I remember in the, I think it was first or second episode, they were in Sochi for the Winter Olympics. I remember Bear magazine, we were in existence then, and I remember talking to some Russians, some Russian Bear community people at the time, who were talking about the issues around Russia and homosexuality and what they were seeing. And they were saying, so two completely different stories from the same person, that if you were a bear in Moscow, because a bear has such a masculine look, a beard and big and beef, they were ignored. If you were feminine, so you were more a feminine or more female presenting or feminine looking gay person, you might not even be gay and that's what you look like. You would be deemed to be gay, because in their minds, queer gayness, and I'm saying it that way because I think it's very binary in Russia, you would be deemed to be gay because you were presenting femininely. But you could skate under the radar if you were a bear because you didn't look gay. But then you flip to Sochi, and Sochi, if people aren't familiar, Sochi was a Russian host city for the Winter Olympics, which is used in the Heated Rivalry storyline. That moment, that competition. Apparently, if you went to Sochi at the time, there were massive billboards with the 4 drag queens who did the main show at the main club in Sochi, dressed in Winter Olympic outfits. So nothing happened to them.
Wow.
So, and all I can say is that's apocryphal because I heard it from somebody. I didn't see it with my own eyes. It was told to me by Russian bears, gay bears that lived in Russia,
Mm-hmm.
were telling me that stuff. Interesting enough, back in the day, when you could take one of the dating apps, the bear dating apps, you could pretend you were in a different zip code in a different country.
Mm-hmm.
I pretended I was in Sochi with the app and full of queer people.
Wow.
The apps don't quite work that way anymore, so you can't do that now. But back then, 15 years ago, you could. So it's interesting to see that they use Sochi. And I just wonder if people know a bit more than they're telling in the storytelling that's led them to think that that's an important part of the story. I don't know. I mean, it's just my memory of the era. But overall, I liked it. I do have that. Oh my God, it's a happy ending. I mean, but we're only book one of 6 books or something, I believe. So there's many journeys to take on each of their stories. It's all happy ending right now. But
for me, I have to be honest, I felt the third episode, which had Francois Arnaud's character who fell in love with the barista, I actually related more to that, and I found that far more interesting. I wonder, is that because we're a little bit older, and that's the sort of that it was a bit more for us, where people would still be in the closet and kind of stuff like that, and then one person would be out, and I think that's more realistic for maybe our experiences. I wonder,
But I think it's interesting because I think people who are in sports who are queer and maybe I think they relate very much to the secret storyline because that's their experience. Whereas I think you and I certainly age and that kind of it to me it had an old world Hollywood meet cute. He's gone in to get his drink and the guy behind the counter is really hot and they connect. So I think it had a meet cuteness that we're a bit more familiar with if we're not sports players. So who knows? And I don't know whether there's more characters to be introduced as the books go along. I don't know anything about them. But so far it's been lovely. I mean, we watched the last episode last night, funny enough. So we're right up to date.
Well, I have to say now myself, I wouldn't mind Francis Arnaud kind of crying if I touched him. Just saying that guy, oh my God, he's gorgeous. But anyway, but I felt that was more realistic to me. I don't know. I mean, I did really enjoy it. And as you said, like, it is fantastic to see finally, TV where gay characters don't die from AIDS or don't suffer for being gay or aren't jokes, and I did like that. I mean, but is it more daring than say most recently It's a Sin or the original UK version of Queer as Folk or any of those things? No, I don't think so. I think they were far more graphic.
No, because I think, I mean, the British Queer as Folk, I think we all
were so graphic.
Even as queer people who are used to that male nudity, we're like, oh my God, that's on television. Oh my God, you see his ass. And it looked like they were fucking. And they weren't. It was cleverly shot again, to make it look. But I think we all knew that the firestorm that was going to come after that. If I remember rightly, there was uproar brilliantly because I think it made us all talk about it. And people were able to say, well, it's no different to EastEnders or whatever, whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think what was on at the time, but may have shown sex scenes on TV. But anything, it certainly didn't break any of the laws about what you could show on television. That's the bit, isn't it? They didn't try and break the law. And I'm sure shows. I'm trying to think what we would have seen. Dynasty had a lot of almost sex scenes.
There would have been a lot of things around that time. I mean, Brookside had the incest storyline and everything else. Do you remember all those kind of things? But that
I remember Brookside having
the brother and the sister. It was all of that stuff. I mean, that was a long time ago before, that. But there was but this, to be fair, when was Queer as Folk? It was the 90s anyway. But there would have been a lot of things like you would have seen.
Yeah. I think it's just, I think for the younger crowd, the younger queer people, just to see any storyline that's about same sex with somewhat of a happy ending.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a nice thing.
I think that's why Heartstopper probably went so well,
Yeah, I mean, Heartstopper for me was, I mean, probably for yourself as well, that kind of going back to school and remembering the rugby team and remembering that kind of world was a bit heartbreaking and a bit lovely at the same time to kind of see that, I think we all of us gay boys secretly love the football captain or the rugby captain, and you can clearly see what they're drawing on to even create the story. But it was nice to see that we can tell a story differently and maybe create hope rather than, well, in our day you didn't sleep with the rugby captain. We know that. We don't need to be told that. We need fantasy, Well, unless you did, but again, the secretness of it all, like in Heartstopper, it's all somewhat out in the open. I mean, and not sleeping because they're children still, so they're not having sex, but they're older teenagers falling in love. But yeah, what I find fascinating with Heartstoppers is the kind of instant pouncing on the rugby player, and he got kind of harangued into coming out, which I felt was sad. It's like it's an actor. We don't know why do we even need to know about his personal life?
Exactly.
Distasteful, especially when they're younger. It's like same with the diver, the British.
Oh, Tom Daly.
But I think it was. I'm not going to say any names, but I think that certain queer press couldn't wait till the day after he was 60. He was 16 years old, and one day, now we can write about him and put his body all over there. I found that very distasteful.
That is, yeah.
So yeah, it's anyway. We were veering off into all sorts here, but no,
that's just strange. But yeah, it was interesting. But I kind of found the reactions a bit kind of wow. But I suppose I'm glad that we're having positive queer representation in TV. And
I think the timing is interesting because I think people are desperate for some joy.
Yeah,
so I wonder if the timing of what's going on in the world means that this joyful story is getting a bit more blown up because it is so joyful, and so in the past enough for it to not connect with anything that's going on in the world right now. It's got that distance that we can enjoy it from, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm no expert. It's just my thoughts. I don't know whether that's true, but again, hats off to the marketing people, whoever they are.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, from the hype and stuff, when I saw of the red carpet of the Golden Globes, everything was about the guys, and they were the most anticipated guests, and
they
stuff
weren't just guests either. They presented an award.
Yeah,
they came on and presented an award. That does not happen by accident. That does not happen by accident. So yeah. Anyway, there we go.
Well, good for them. Exactly. So anyway, getting back to joyful things.
Yes.
We are going to. I think we'll start with just a bit of a guided meditation, just to kind of get us in the mindset for that, because the world is a little bit uncertain at the moment with everything that's going on, and I think we could try and bring a little bit of positivity into our lives. So I thought we'd start with that, and then we'll do some spreads.
Great. Sounds wonderful.
Cool. Okay, so we're gonna just have a little balance. So I'm gonna invite you now to just close your eyes, okay, and just allow your breath to soften, dropping low into your body, and allow yourself to turn your attention inwards. Again, noticing your breath. There's no need to change it. Simply observe the natural rhythm, in and out, and in and out, and in and out. And notice the gentle rise of your chest and the soft release as you exhale. Again, in and out, and in and out. And if you feel comfortable, I invite you now to place one hand over your heart. And again, if it feels right, one hand over your belly. And feel the support of the chair, the floor, and the ground beneath you. And as you breathe in, I want you to silently say to yourself, in this moment, I am safe. And as you breathe out, I release what I don't need to carry right now. So again, in this moment, I am safe. And out, I release what I don't need to carry right now. And again, in this moment, I am safe. And out, I release what I don't need to carry right now. And in this moment, I am safe. And out, I release what I don't need to carry right now. If uncertainty, worry, or fear is present, acknowledge it kindly. There's nothing to fix and nothing to push away. Simply notice it, like clouds passing through the sky. Now, I want you to imagine a soft, warm light at the center of your chest. With each breath in, this light grows steadier and calmer, restoring balance to your thoughts, emotions, and body. Breathing in and feeling it expand, and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. If your mind wanders, that is perfectly okay. Gently guide it back to the rhythm of your breathing and the warmth of the light within you. And silently, I invite you to repeat the following words. I can meet this moment with steadiness. I don't need all the answers right now. I can meet this moment with steadiness. I don't need all the answers right now. I can meet this moment with steadiness. I don't need all the answers right now. And carrying this new sense of balance within you, knowing you can return to whenever the world feels uncertain, take one slow, final, nourishing breath in and allow it to release with ease. And when you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room, wiggling your fingers and toes and opening your eyes.
Lovely. Lovely as ever.
Nice way to start the new year.
For definite.
Yeah. So, as I said, we're going to do 2 tarot spreads today. Okay,
Great.
They're going to act as clean-ons for everybody.
Marvelous.
So, we're calling this one maintaining mental health in challenging times.
Great.
Okay. So, you're going to be my anchor as usual, Richard. Okay. So, it's going to be 5 cards across. I'm going to just change my camera now.
Lovely.
Isn't it funny? They've changed the layout yet again of this. So we keep having to figure everything out. Okay, so can you see that?
Yeah, I'll try and put me on the side.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Richard, I am going to ask you to concentrate on the cards, and I'm going to read the questions out to you first, okay? So you're going to tap in, right?
Sure.
Our first card is going to be about what is currently affecting my mental health and emotional well-being. Okay, so this card is going to identify the core stressor, emotional weight, or internal narrative currently influencing your mood, resilience, or sense of stability. Okay. So what is currently affecting my mental health and emotional well-being? Then card 2 will be how I'm responding internally to this pressure. Okay, so this position reveals how we're coping beneath the surface, and it may highlight any healthy strategies, avoidance patterns, or unconscious defense mechanisms. Okay, then card 3, what emotional need is asking for care right now? So this is important because this is the heart of the spread, and this card points to what is most needed at this time: rest, reassurance, boundaries, expression, or compassion. Okay, 4, what practical support or inner resource can I lean on? So this card highlights available support systems or inner strengths such as therapy, community, routine, spiritual practice, or personal resilience. And then finally, card 5, what helps restore balance and steadiness in the long term? So, a sustainable anchor for mental health. And this card offers guidance on habits, perspectives, or practices that support long-term emotional equilibrium. Okay?
Great.
So, with that said, I've been shuffling. So when you're ready, I want you to tell me to stop.
Stop.
Okay.
Thank you. It was a good shuffle.
It was a good shuffle, yes. So now I'm going to put out 3 piles. So we have the left, we have the middle, and we have the right. Which would you like?
Middle.
Into the middle to solve the riddle.
That's the one.
Okay. So card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, and card 5. Just bring them over a bit.
Bring them over to your left. A good whole card.
Left.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Keep going a bit.
Yeah.
A little bit more on your side to the left, and down a bit. And down like a half a card. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
There. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
That's it.
Great. Okay. So now I'm going to flip them over. So card 1, ooh, 8 of Pentacles. Card 2, 10 of Pentacles. Card 3, 2 of Swords. Card 5, or card 4, should I say? 5 of Wands, and card 6. Card 5, thank God, is the Knight of Wands. So that is a very interesting spread. Interesting enough too. What I'm noticing, and I don't know if you've noticed this, is they're all minor arcana.
Oh yeah. What I noticed was you've got coins to the left, or pentacles. Some people call them coins. Wands to the right, and swords in the middle. So it almost, it's a really interesting kind of way they've been presented,
isn't it? It's very interesting. So what is currently affecting my mental and emotional well-being? So, well, think about this, right? It's the unknown, because the 7 of Pentacles is an unusual card. It's knowledge and experience, right? But it's about long-term planning when you're uncertain, because this is about laying the foundations of the future and trusting in the process that's going to bring you into the unknown land, because we move from the realm of the High Priest, the Empress, which is the green here, into the blue of the unknown, which is the High Priestess. So again, the world is very uncertain, and we're trying to maintain our mental health in challenging times. So this is what is currently affecting my mental health and emotional well-being. Well, people are feeling very lost, and they don't know where they're going, right? And they're trying to look towards the future, but it's very uncertain with all the stuff that's going economically, etc., all over the world at the moment. The political climate, everything else that's happening. People are frightened. So it's interesting that this is about, it's also people are worried about their long-term security. And that's a very human and real thing. Okay. So that makes sense to everybody, and that doesn't just mean like, most people are terrified of like, the unknown and what's going to happen, like in normal circumstances, because like, we all want to pay our mortgages, we all want to pay our bills, we all want our jobs, it's everything secure, but the world is in such a state of flux at the moment. Markets are fluctuating and stuff like that. So it's a very stressful time for a lot of people. Okay. So this is quite interesting. How am I responding? The second question is, how am I responding internally to this pressure? So this position reveals how you're coping beneath the surface, and it may highlight healthy strategies, avoidance patterns, or unconscious defense mechanisms. Well, actually, I think this is quite lovely, because the 10 of Pentacles is about the happy home life, So I think people are kind of really assessing what's important, like family, health, all those things. And this is a necessary shock. And maybe because we need to go back, in my opinion, again, this is my own personal opinion, I think over the last sort of many years, we've all been focused on material gain and stuff like this. And I think that we're actually now reassessing, well, what actually is important? We need community around us. We need to build relationship with people. And interesting enough, I started a new course for my muggle job in addiction studies and counselling. Right. And we had our first class the other night, and they talked about this experiment called Rat Town. right? So I can't remember the guy who did it, but basically we watched this TED talk as part of it called by Johann Hari, and he mentions this thing called Rattan. And so for years and years and years, all the experiments around drug addiction were carried out based on putting a rat in a cage and giving it 2 bottles of water. One was laced with heroin and one was water. And so normally the rat would drink all the heroin water and kill itself. But then some guy came along and he decided that he thought, well, hang, this can't be right. So he built a whole town, put all the rats in it. They'd loads of cheese, they'd all sorts of things they could do, food. There was nothing, there was lots of them in it. And not one of them went near the water with the heroin. So then from that, they concluded that everything is about connection, right? And it's only when we feel disconnected do we feel all this. And I think in my own work, a lot of the people that are coming to me with anxiety is because they're losing the sense of connection to other people.
Yeah.
Because we're all out working all day and we're all so tired and we come in with nothing. We can't live our life. And
yeah. Well,
and I think,
yeah.
Go on.
No, sorry. I mean, I was going to go off on a big diatribe, but I've just in the middle of a reading, so forgive me. Carry on.
No. So I do feel that this is what it is, where maybe this is a necessary shake-up for us all to realize that we need the connection, we need the community around us. We need other people, because after all, humans are social animals. Technically we're apes. So don't they all live in kind of communes,
Exactly.
So exactly. So, I think that's very important. And 10 is that completion, and I think for this, it's about, we're all learning with all that's going on. Well, everything could be taken away for us tomorrow. So live for the day.
Yeah, for definite. I think people, are realizing that like diamond rings don't buy you happiness. The diamond industry apparently is reeling because younger folk just don't see the importance of buying a diamond ring the way perhaps we did 20 years ago. It just isn't people can't afford it, let alone whether they want it or not. People just can't afford that stuff. So they're finding other ways to live and through joy. Joy seems to be the top of people's list now, to live with joy. And that doesn't necessarily mean having stuff that you just going to throw away at the end of your life anyway. It's doesn't nothing happen. It's so interesting.
Yeah, exactly. As we have a saying here in Ireland, I don't know, I think you guys have it in the UK, I'm not sure if the Americans have it, there's no pockets and shrouds.
Yes, I've heard that before. Yeah, totally.
You can't take it with you.
Yeah,
you really can't. No. So I think that's it. And I think, we're constantly bombarded with manifestation. But the thing is, as I tell people, yeah, you can have anything that you truly desire, but is it a real desire? Is it something your soul actually wants for you? We'd all like to win the lotto, but like really, is it really something that will make a huge difference in your life? Like, or is it better that you follow your heart's desire and live the life that's best you possibly can? And I do think, that's kind of what manifestation is, because you're tapping into the core of what you're supposed to be here to do, as opposed to having wishful and magical thinking. Because everything is about vibration. I remember I told you the story about the Ferrari. If you're going around, you want to work for a Ferrari because you've seen it in a magazine since you were a child and you've always wanted to work really hard to get it, you'll get the emotional hit. But if you just wanted to show off to other people, you'll never get that, and the hole will get deeper and deeper and deeper. So toxic manifestation. But if it's a true desire, it's something that you're born with, then it will, you work towards it and it will happen. And I think that's where we're all getting confused with manifestation and everything. But I do think people are cottoning on going, a simple life is better, just to be happy. And what will make you truly happy?
Well, I think it's interesting, because I think about that and you think, I know that there are like motoring and car clubs where you can go and borrow for a day. I mean, it doesn't, for less than buying it, you could borrow a Ferrari for a day. Do you really need to own it outright? You could borrow it for a day, have that joy, but not have the worry or the expense of having to own it. Really, a Ferrari's going to sit in the garage more than it's going to be driven around, anyway.
Exactly.
Exactly. I think it's tweaking how you meet that joy. It doesn't have to be whatever the traditional version of that, of ownership, let's say, or you don't need to own a holiday home in a different country. Go and rent one for a week. I mean, it's less headaches if you're just renting it for a week, but you still have the moment of living in it for a week.
Exactly.
I think we've got to change our minds as to what having that piece of joy really is, or really could be, that is less stressful and less maybe less expense, just to but still gives you your dream come true moment,
Yeah, and I think that that's what's happening with a lot of people. It's like, do you know what? We're all realizing what's actually important to us. And for most people, it's security. After all, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We just
Yeah.
want to be fed, watered, and loved.
Yeah. Truly.
And that's it. So what emotional need is asking for care right now? This is very interesting that we've got the Two of Swords. Okay. So this is the heart of the spread. And I said this card points to what is most needed at this time. Is it rest? Is it reassurance? Is it boundaries? Is it expression? Or is it compassion? So interestingly enough, right, if we look at the Two of Swords, right, we see that the woman is, and one of my favorite shows at the moment, Percy Jackson, and they had to go to the Sea of Monster, and they were stuck between Scylla and Charybdis, a rock and a hard place.
Right.
Right. Okay, so the water's all behind her, and water's all emotions, right? But actually, this, as you know, this is my, when people come to me for readings, I say, this is the shut them up and give me a moment to think card. Okay? So this is about a reset. This is about asking yourself to just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and really focus on what it is you actually want, and use your discernment, okay, to take a time of rest, to listen to really what's going on for you, right? To put those boundaries in place, right? And make the choices that will make you happy. Interestingly enough, the woman is wearing yellow. And of course, what is yellow? It's a fear, but it's also love.
Right.
Okay. So it's about learning this. And we have the green, the belt down here, and you can see the green, and you can see the Triskelion in it. I don't know if you can see that. I'll bring it up a little closer. Okay, can you see that?
Lovely, yeah.
And of course, that represents mind, body, and spirit. Okay, it's the Celtic symbol. Okay, so it's about really listening to our soul to get us through this dark time and putting in boundaries with things. So that could be very much in my own life. What I've started to do is, while we need to stay connected to the world, we also need sometimes to shut it out. So I don't consume very much media at the moment. I get the news headlines, so I'm not constantly in a fear state.
I think that's very clever, very, very clever. And I think my one bit of advice to people is if you're reading or watching something that might give you some fear, try and just make sure it is real, because there's a lot of stuff that's not real at the minute that's being used and sent out to us all on purpose.
Yeah.
And I think if you can find a way to say, right, that's probably not real, therefore don't buy into the emotion that it's trying to make you have. I think that's probably one of the cleverest or the most useful things we can do for ourselves, is just not buy into the quick kind of fear of the quick thing that we've seen on someone's social media. People were posting it probably with genuine concern, but maybe they haven't taken the time to realize whether it's real or not. There's a lot of, unfortunately, disinformation out there, created to make us fearful. So if you can kind of, I think you're doing something clever, Graham, by not watching too much, helps keep the head clear for when the real stuff that needs to be dealt with comes along.
Because what will happen is that fear will build and build, and you'll just become exhausted and numb. So it's about managing that and listening really, with closing your eyes and being really discerning. What do I need to know here? I think that's what this message is. So it's about asking you to really listen to what your heart is trying to tell you, and protecting your own energy and going within. I think that's art is to do that. And interesting enough, she's wearing a blindfold. So it's not that you're blindfolded or you're kind of cutting it off. It's the fact that you're only paying attention to what actually is going to help you at the moment.
Your eyes can deceive you.
Exactly.
It's
in the Gnostic Gospels, they say to us to listen with the eye of the heart, because that's where all truth lies. So, but that's internal. It's the internal sight. It's your intuition. Hence, in this card, we also have the moon. The half moon over here. So the high priestess, it's the inner voice. And all this blue always represents the throat chakra, which is communication. So listen to what your soul is trying to tell you. Okay, so I think that's very important at the moment. It's having that balance between what you're feeling to be true and what you're feeling to be false, and really listening to that, okay, to help you make the right decisions. Now, then what we've got for card 4 is what practical support or inner resources can I lean on? And this is quite interesting because this card highlights available support systems or inner strengths, right? So that's such as going to a therapist or spending time with your community, building routine or your spiritual practice, whatever it is. Interestingly enough, what I like about this card is it's the 5 of Wands. So 5 is always change, as we know, but Wands is interesting that it's about passion, it's about fire, it's about that energy for creation, right? But this card is always about healthy competition. Okay, so what I think this is kind of telling us, it is asking us to listen to the opinions of other people. Okay,
Right.
and spend time with people who promote us, not demote us, but also challenge us and challenge our worldview. I think that's very important. Okay, so it's about working together to create something interesting and different. So spending time in a setting that will support you, but also challenge you to grow in new ways. I think that's what I'm feeling is this card. Because interesting, if you look, right, look at the hands, they're all different.
Yeah.
So spending time with people who might have different viewpoints to you or whatever, but that you can have proper healthy discussions with. Okay, so you're not becoming trapped in a sort of an echo chamber.
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
And again, we have that blue. We have the blue of the throat chakra, communication, but also, as I said to you, we have the energy of creation because with the fiery wands. But if you look out of the wands, there are coming leaves. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that's, of course, about that always represents new growth, abundance, and stuff. So that's also encouraging you to work in pairs in with people that you normally wouldn't, to create something unique and different, because it will help you, challenge you, and that way we'll all come together and work and create something unique and different. I think that's what this is trying to tell us. It's like, if we put these two together, it's like, be very careful about not becoming isolated. Okay, but it's also get what you need to get, and also be open to listening to other things. Okay, the outside of what your own fears are. Okay, because often a lot of people will have different fears, and if you can help another person that will challenge you, then you can grow in a new direction.
For sure. Wonderful.
Yeah. And I think then, so the next card, our final card, I love this because, we've coins, swords, wands. And again, it's the fire. The Knight of Wands is an interesting character because he represents change. As you can see, the little salamander on his glove.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, he's yellow. So it's about the fear, identity. It's about getting over that. He has on his helmet, he has the griffin, which is, of course, a lion and an eagle. So that's strength, pride, but it's also divine guidance. We have the wand here again with the growth coming out of it. Okay. And we have just here in front of him the little mountain. So the obstacles are just in front of him. So he's literally just coming over them. Okay. And he's looking towards the future because he's on the right. Yeah. So what helps restore balance and steadiness in the long term? So what is a sustainable anchor for my mental health? So this card is about creating new habits and looking at perspectives or practices that support long-term emotional equilibrium. So basically, it's asking you to do what brings you joy, to focus on that. This whole reading is asking you to focus on where can I place my energy that will help me create something for myself and my loved ones and move into a better future. That's what this card is doing. It's asking you not to be stuck in a fear cycle, and asking you to start to look for the future and be optimistic. It's a bit like, I suppose, all those consciousness experiments that once we start to think of something, once a group of people start to think of something, it can affect all those clocks and stuff. So if we all start to think of a better world, I know that sounds hippie trippy, but if we all start to think of a better future, we'll all manifest it.
Yeah.
I
get you.
And, it's a bit like what's his name? John Lennon said, imagine there's no hunger, imagine there's no war, these things. And that's it. So I think that's it. If we can all start to sing that wonderful song, we can change the world, But it's about you kind of making your life and the life of those around you better and having the courage to be authentic in doing so.
Yeah.
and not being afraid, to speak up and be counted, but working towards what it is you want. Because, as I would say to people that come to me when I'm a therapist, right, everybody's problems start from a lack of relationships, right? When we don't have relationships, we fall into despair, right? So this is about building relationships with other people. So how you do that is by finding people who believe in what you believe in, who are interested in what you're doing, and then you'll be exposed to different types of people, from different backgrounds, etc., and then we can all work towards common goals.
Fantastic, love. Very, very good. And interesting looking at that spread. You've got the card on the left looking left. You've got the card on the right looking right, and the one in the middle,
past and the future.
Really is kind of, you couldn't kind of design it better, really, that layout. And
you really couldn't.
Flags crossing, and then you've got the wands crossing of the two next to the sword. It's great, yeah.
And look, 10 and 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completion of a chapter and change, new growth.
Yeah.
And then we've the knight, of course, is all about taking action.
Yeah. Interesting.
So as they say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Very good. Very good.
Very interesting. Okay, well, shall we go on to how to help us remain positive during all of this uncertainty?
Yes, let's do it. I think that, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So
we've got another 15 minutes or so, I think. So
yeah, it's been a nice welcome back.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So as always, I love chatting to Richard.
It's always good to be chatting to you, Graham, my love.
I know, darling, I know. So this card is going to be focusing on meaning making and perspective shifting. So it's going to help us reframe uncertainty as a space for growth, empowerment, and inner trust rather than fear. Okay. Lovely. So the first card I'm going to put out is, what aspect of uncertainty is unsettling us at the most? What belief or story is amplifying this fear? What perspective helps me reframe this situation positively? What small empowering action is available right now? And what gift or growth is quietly emerging from this uncertainty? Okay. So now, so when you're ready, Richard, I want you to tell me to stop.
And stop. I think that's good.
Okay. So again, we're going to go left, we're going to go middle, and we're going to go right.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay. So for question 1, we have, what aspect of uncertainty is unsettling me the most? Oh my God. The 10 of Swords. Jeez.
I love that card. I love it.
Oh my God. Okay. So what belief or story is amplifying this fear? So this position, let's have a look. We've got the Empress. Interesting. Okay, I like that. Okay. What perspective helps me reframe this situation positively? The 8 of Swords. That's a bit mad. Okay. Now, what small empowering action is available right now? Oh, the Lovers. I'm loving this. It's totally echoing what we just had. It's so mad. And what gift or growth is quietly emerging from this uncertainty? Strength. Isn't that really powerful?
Wow.
With 3 major arcana cards in this spread. I'm loving this. Okay. So what aspect of uncertainty is unsettling me the most? And so this card is the core fear or discomfort, that loss of control, ambiguity, future anxiety, or identity disruption. Look at this, the 10 of Swords, right? But in this is actually some hope.
Yeah.
Because it feels like everything is still, right? So this card, right, I always point out to people when they come for readings, can you see the hand down here?
Can you bring the card up? Because I can't.
I can indeed. Okay, sorry.
I see.
You see his hand?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to look at this guy. Is he dead or alive?
You don't know, do you? I don't.
Well, I do.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Go on.
It's very cleverly done, because you see this gesture, right?
Yeah.
That's the hand of fate. And you can't actually do that if you're dead, because you lose motor control.
I see.
Okay. And interesting enough, if you look at his head, he's facing off over the frozen lake into the blackness of space where the stars are, the hope for the future, right?
Right.
But if you look at the 10 swords down the back, right, think about what they represent. They're along the spinal column, right?
Mm.
They're in his chakras, aren't they? It's a bit
Oh,
like acupuncture.
interesting. My gosh, you do have a fascinating take.
Right? So
Yeah.
what this is telling us is that everything is frozen at the moment, hence the water. Okay.
Right.
But remember, blackness always represents potential. Okay. So we've come to a point where everything feels stuck. But actually, if we take the swords out of our back, we can actually begin again, right? So everything has happened. It's the hand of fate. We're at a particular nexus point. Okay. So we're all worried about the future. Okay. But actually, if we start to kind of sit and think, we will all be fine. We will all be fine. Okay. Because if we look at this, I want to show you that this is always very interesting too. If you look at the shape of the swords, can you see this? Okay.
A bit more with camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to look, right? We have 2. Okay. Can you see that? 2 swords here. Then we have 5 swords, and then we have 3 swords.
I see, like
Can
how
you
they're
see
bunched
that?
together kind of thing.
Yeah. What I want you to think about that is, right, we have 2. We need to make a necessary choice to use our creative vision to change our thoughts, to make the changes to move forward, which is the 5.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It is our choice to put our attention where we want it to go. Okay. So everybody's feeling, oh my God, where are we going? Everything's uncertain, right? So this is the fear. But remember, swords is mental energy, right? We can change our thoughts. Okay. We can choose to focus it on different things. We can guard them. Okay. And that way, if we start to think about this, okay, even in personal life, everything that's happened to you has happened for a reason, but it's how you react to that situation. Okay. Is moving forward. Okay. So, so don't become dysregulated. Okay. It's about how we react. Okay. And how we respond, because it's about what you call it. It's about us moving into the future by not regretting the past
Right.
and not raking over it. Okay. And waiting for the shoe to drop. Okay. We need to live in the moment. This is what it's telling us. Okay. Because only when we live in the moment are we able to access the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we have to take personal responsibility for everything, because after all, what is responsibility? Responding with ability. Yeah. So interestingly enough, that brings us to the next card. So what aspect of uncertainty is unsettling me the most? And of course, it's the Empress. So the Empress is the material world. We're all like, oh my God, the price of cabbage is shocking, blah, 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 blah. I can't afford the groceries. Eggs are through the roof. Oh my God, petrol's nuts. Everybody's worried about the material world at the moment, right? But actually, if we start to think about it, like, do we need the Louis Vuitton handbag? Do we need the trip to this, that, the other? We can live very simply, and by following it is what our hearts desire is, and being really contented and sharing everything, because the Empress is all about nurturing and growth, right? All right. And having the courage to be authentic with ourselves. Do we really need the $300 sneakers? Right. That's what it's kind of telling us. Okay. So yes, we're very worried about things, and it's a loss of control, but actually what the Empress promises us is that we have actually everything that we need, if we literally look at the world around us. Because if you see here, she has the heart, the little kind of sacred heart thing with the crucifix. That actually represents the 4 directions. And if you listened again, that knew the voice of the heart, you'll realize most of us aren't as bad as we think we are, but we're constantly being fed these messages that we're less than, that we're not this, that we're not, we need. We don't. We literally have everything around us. And if we start to tap into the community, to the people, etc., then things will change. Because and I don't know, when we were younger, the neighbors, everybody would share everything, and we'd know all our neighbors, and we need to get back to a bit more like that, because we are creatures who need community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then if we look at the next card, what belief or story is amplifying this fear? Well, interestingly enough, it's the Eight of Swords. We have swords and swords, right? This is a very interesting card, because remember, we've now had the only 2 cards in the deck where the character wears a blindfold.
Wow. In the center as well, like at the same
place.
Yeah,
in the center. We've had the 2 of Swords and we've had the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is an interesting one, that we're feeling trapped. We can't find a way forward. Okay, but actually that's not true, because again, we have the woman wearing a red dress, right? Red, of course, is the root chakra, the material needs. We're all worried about this, right? But actually, if we look, we have pretty much everything that we need, and we just need to keep going. But we need to change our thoughts around this, right? Because if she really is clever, she'll realize that the things that are tying her up, all her negative thoughts, the binds here, are actually quite loose, and she could wriggle out of them and move forward with courage and confidence. But if you look, you have the 4, you have the 3, and the 1. So again, the stuff that's keeping you held and trapped here on this side, the 4 swords, you need to use the gifts that you have, your own creative passions, etc., your own thoughts, your own skills, to address this with discernment, and then you can make the right choices to cut things out of your life and move forward and move towards what you need. That's what this card promises. It's like, we're our own problem. We're the one keeping us bound.
Yeah.
Mad. So our own thoughts are enslaving us, so that we need to move. We need to leave them behind and choose to put our focus on what's going to support us at this time. That's what this card is telling us. Not get caught up and being trapped by what's going on, okay? Because again, it's getting back to that message of what you consume, you become. Yeah. So if we look, that's going to tell us how to reframe this story, because this is the reauthoring card. Okay, so it's about introducing a supportive viewpoint and grounding it in trust. So we are the ones in control of our own thoughts. That's what this card is telling us. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. And then let's go into card 4. So what small empowering action is available right now? And again, it's the Lovers.
Love it. I think it's great.
And it's coming together with other people to create something different, a divine guidance. It's finding that sense of self. Lovers is about choices. It's about what we choose, who we choose to spend time with. It's about listening to what's going to bring us joy, because we'd normally have Archangel Raphael, if this was the right Smiths up above, which is all about love and growth. Okay, so this is about spending time with people who promote you and not demote you. And that will help you make the necessary changes to bring in the growth that you so desperately need. Again, this is the message. It's about spending time in community, because remember, 6 is an interesting number in cards. 6 represents perseverance, but once we persevere, what do we find? Peace.
Yeah.
And again, it's the greens, it's those lovely healing colors. Yeah. So choosing where you put your energy, this is what the choice is. Okay. And then, so the final question, I love this. I mean, how more positive can we get? So the final card is, what gift or growth is quietly emerging from this uncertainty? Strength. But what does strength ask us to do? To be gentle with ourselves. Because after all, to tame the lion within, the beast that's given us all these fears and anxieties, it's about having that inner strength. But the way we do that is by being kind to ourselves and others. Okay, and realizing that there's not a problem that we won't be able to get through. Because interesting enough, the lion is orange. Again, we get yellows and greens, and white is the color of peace. Okay, so this is kind of echoed all the way through. If you look, the colors have been echoed again, apart from the 2 swords cards. So if we look, so we have, again, orange is, of course, our sacral chakra. It's about tapping into our energy, our creative energy, our passions to guide us forward, to help us find the peace and the abundance that we're looking for. But it's about that quiet resolve to make the changes necessary to move forward, because 8 is, of course, obstacles, but what do we do with obstacles? We advance through them. So we're learning the gift of strength. We're learning to rely on ourselves.
Amazing. Gosh. Such great spreads, Graham.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. It's been a very interesting evening, and I hope that we've been able to help some people.
Let's get you back into vision, my love.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I better come in.
Come and talk to us.
Again. I'm changing my camera. They keep changing the buttons. I'm middle-aged. I can't do it all this tech stuff. Oh, look, it's gone light outside.
Well, I've got snow, so if you caught me looking to my left, it's full on snow. I don't know whether we knew we were getting that, so that's interesting.
Wow.
Poor
John's just had rain.
Poor John's waiting to go to the supermarket, so he's trapped in the bedroom and waiting for us to finish. He probably changed his mind now. Oh well.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, I hope that we've been able to give some guidance to some people. I think our next episode, I think we might be having a guest. I can't remember.
Yes, we've got a couple of potentials actually. Yes, I've got to just chase that up. Because we had Will, didn't we? So yeah, I think I know who I want next. Will. I think I know who I want next. So they're in your time zone. So,
ooh, great. Well, I mean, it's always worked anyway.
I know.
And wasn't the Christmas episode with the two girls just lovely? That was
fantastic. Bless them so much. And I was it was so lovely to get the connection she had to the writer behind Peanuts, Charles Schultz, that she had that little connection. So it's like, gave it a little bit of Christmassy magic dust, I thought, which is great. But yeah, no, they were lovely, lovely, lovely people. So yeah, bless them. If you're watching, hello, girls.
Yes. And as ever, guys, while we're doing all these things, we're doing them for you. So please write into us and ask us anything that's troubling you. And I realize that not everybody can come and afford to come and have a reading with me or go to see another person or have a therapy session. So we're here to help you. That's why Richard and I created this program. So we want to help guide you intuitively and with love and compassion. And we're all about helping you find the light inside yourself, especially at the moment. So please email us at info@bearsteaandtarot.com. God, got the name of the show there for a second. info@bearsteaandtarot.com.
Yes. What happens when you get to season 2? It all gets out the window.
That's it.
But I'll say, for anybody listening, please treat the readings that we do, even for other people, even for our guests, if you take something from it, it's a Cledon. It's a Cledon for you. If it resonates and it feels helpful or useful, it probably is meant to have been.
Exactly. That's the whole point. Exactly. And so, we can't answer everybody who writes into us. We try.
We absolutely
try. But most people, the feedback that we do get is that, oh my God, that resonated with me. That resonated. But this was so accurate for what's going on in my life. And even on my daily posts on Instagram, people write to me and go, oh my God, that was so relevant to me and what's going on in my life at the moment. Because if you see it, if you come across it, it's for you. Trust it.
And I think that's other aspects of life as well. I remember my husband very early on in our relationship told me a tale one day where he felt very in need of a hug, not from me, but from the universe, not like a more of a some kind of stuff. And he said this day he was walking down the street in New York, and this little child ran up to him and threw her arms around his legs because she was only tiny, and gave him a big hug. And he said, and he even said, he's a bit more jaded these days, but I remember him saying it felt like that's what he needed. It wasn't a hug from that person; it was a hug from the universe. It became that kind of. And I think you've got to look out for that. You've got to look out for the universe is trying to tell us stuff all the time, all the time. I think, and it's we've got to attune. It's not easy. I know it's not easy, but you've got to attune to that too. So those messages that are that you might see around you in the world, if you can take from it, it was meant to be. And the universe is much cleverer than we all are.
Exactly.
It knows what it's doing.
It does. And with that, we will love you and leave you, and we will see you all at the next episode. Can't wait. Thanks, Richard. Thanks for being here. And Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to you, Graham, and to everyone. We'll see you in February.